We chose March 23rd because it was the day of fasting closest to the Feast of the Annunciation. And we wanted it to be a Friday because we feel like that a little bit more opportunity for people to participate, being at the end of the week. And, of course, it's also a day of abstinence. I suppose just that I would really encourage people to spread the word about this, to come out and be a part of this thing, because this really is a historic battle. And, you're going to regret it if you miss out on being a part of this. Because this is a once-in-a-generation, maybe even once-in-a-century kind of a fight. So, get on board before it's too late. We at the Pro-Life Action League really believe, and in fact, our organization is founded on the belief that in order to affect this kind of social change, to overturn something like the HHS mandate, or simply to reach out and try to stop abortions before they happen, we have to take action locally within our own spheres of influence. And so we're deeply committed to direct activism. And what that means for us is that we facilitate that. We try to make that possible by providing opportunities for people to take their views and put them into action in this very visible way. What we hope to accomplish with that is, first of all, to mobilize people who care passionately about this issue so that they will be even more deeply committed and more willing to do whatever it takes to stop the Obama administration's attack on religious freedom. We also are seeking to take this issue outside of the very narrow lines within which it has been drawn by the mainstream media, where this is, just a bunch of old white men who don't know anything about, modern life and marriage and sexuality, who are trying to impose their views on the world, and show that, in fact, there is a great deal of support for the bishops among the lay people, both Protestant and Catholic, and that we aren't all on board with the sort of Obama administration's program for what constitutes health care and what constitutes preventative health care for women. So, kind of to remind the media that, guess what? There are people out there who reject the idea that pregnancy and childbirth are diseases that need to be controlled and prevented, like they're, with what they're calling preventative care. And that there are people who believe that this is an encroachment on their religious freedom. And it's not just a few pundits and a few bishops. We're going to be shipping signs out to all the locations around the country because we really want this to be both a grassroots effort across the nation and also really a unified effort with a very clear message. And that message is to stand up for religious freedom and stop Obama's HHS mandate. So you're going to see those signs from Portland, Oregon to Portland, Maine, and everywhere in between. So that'll be one of the features of the rallies. Another, we're really encouraging people to invite local religious leaders, not just Catholics, but Protestants, Jews, even Muslims, to participate as special speakers at the rallies as well, because this really isn't just a Catholic issue. This is a direct attack on the constitutionally protected right of religious organizations to define their own mission and purpose, which is being abrogated by the Obama administration. We'll be singing hymns and offering prayers for our country, and also standing up against this kind of distorted notion of what constitutes medical care. Abortion-inducing drugs are not healthy, and pregnancy is not a disease. Well, my own experience is that I was an atheist when I walked into my first NFP class about 15 years ago now. And I walked out of that first class really intrigued by what the science might be able to show me, and willing to kind of go along with the class, even though I thought the religious part of it was a bunch of hooey. But by the end of that course, I had gone to confession and was helping my wife to discern whether she was being called to become Catholic, which she eventually did. And here we are 15 years later, and we've had 5 more kids, now we have 8 children, and I came to believe the church was right about contraception before I believed she was right about anything else, even the existence of God himself. So, I'm very passionate about the church being dead right about contraception. When I went home from that first NFP class and reflected on I looked at Humanae Vitae, and I reflected on my own marriage, and I saw that the very problems Pope Paul VI pointed to about contraception, how it twists and attitude towards his wife, towards the gift of her, make him take it for granted. I had to admit that I was guilty of so much of what the church predicted contraception would do. It just rang true to me. I looked at it and I thought, you know what? It was almost like getting the contraception out of my marriage gave me a clarity of mind and a perspective that wasn't open to me before. I mean, I found in the practice of self-sacrifice, having to deny myself for the sake of my wife and my family, and a practice that, of course, was also very much of a shared effort on the part of my wife and me. I found in that something just so beautiful, so powerful, so inspiring. You know, this capacity for self-denial that I didn't know I had in me. And it just really turned me on to what else might the church be right about. I think another important factor for me was that in the gift of your body to your spouse in the marital embrace, there's an echo of what Christ says, both in the Eucharist and on the cross. This is my body given up for you. That self-sacrifice of the flesh for the other person, that gift of the body, I saw that in a whole new way. I saw marriage and the gift of your life to your spouse, and in particular the gift of your body within the marital embrace, to just have a theological dimension that I'd never considered before.